After World War I, the military powers in Europe began to summarize their armored warfare experience, and successively put forward a variety of tactical and strategic theories, among which the most famous was the theory of blitzkrieg that swept across Europe during World War II. In fact, the idea of blitzkrieg had its roots in countries like England and France, but ultimately did not become the mainstream idea. The famous TF-17 Renault light tank, designed by General Etienne, was a supporter of mobile warfare. He believed that tanks should focus on high mobility, rather than being turned into slow-moving steel fortresses. Even if it meant weakening the protection, the tanks should cut through the enemy's front line at a faster speed and cause havoc behind the enemy's defenses. General Etienne's theory was supported by Major Matt of the British Army. In 1925, Major Matt, a wealthy man, decided to design and manufacture a high-speed light armored tank at his own expense. This tank, called the Wedge, although it would be more appropriate to call it an armored car, was named the Morris Martel. The tank was actually put together using spare parts, with its engine taken from a truck, its axles from a Ford car, suspension using steel plate structure from cars of the time, and a wooden body. This small tank had small metal tracks like those on a tractor, a front-mounted engine with 16 horsepower, and armor with a thickness of 8 mm. At the rear of the tank, there were large steering wheels for controlling the tank's direction, making it more of a half-track vehicle. The tank had a square riveted armored body without a rotating turret, and only enough space for one driver. Major Matt had planned to install a Vickers machine gun in front of the driver, but this feature was not present in the prototype. In the testing at the end of 1925, the Wedge tank operated relatively smoothly, reaching a speed of 32 km per hour on the road and about 9 to 10 km per hour off-road, which was quite good for the technology of 1925. However, other issues were discovered during the testing, and it was found to be too difficult for a crew member to drive the vehicle and operate the machine gun at the same time. At this point, the British Army became interested in the Wedge tank and requested the production of 4 more prototype vehicles. These 4 prototype vehicles were manufactured by a car company and delivered the following year, including 2 single-seat models and 2 improved 2-seat models. These 4 tanks had adjustments made to the vehicle's radiator structure, the addition of a carburetor, and expanded upper space for the 2-seat version, which weighed 2.2 tons empty. After the upgrade, the tank's performance changed, with the single-seat version's maximum road speed reduced to 24 km per hour and the off-road speed increased to 16 km per hour, and the armor protection increased to a thickness of 10 mm. In 1927, another prototype vehicle appeared with a walking mechanism using 4 pairs of small-diameter idler wheels and rubber tracks, reducing the weight of the tank to 1.9 tons and improving its stability. 8 tanks were ordered and completed that year, known as the Morris Martel improved 2-seat tanks. These different versions of the Wedge tank were not standard issue for the Army, and were used in the experimental mechanized units, which mainly explored theories and technologies related to armored warfare. The Wedge tank was used here as a light tracked reconnaissance vehicle, as it really did not resemble a tank. Soon after, the British Army lost interest in the Wedge tank, mainly due to technological advancements and the greater potential for development of light-tracked vehicles. It seemed wasteful to have a half-track structure on such a small vehicle. The company responsible for producing the Wedge did not give up and attempted to market it in the late 1920s, but unfortunately, no country was willing to purchase such a seemingly unreliable weapon. As for the prototype tanks used by the British Army, they were in service until around 1930. The Wedge tank was originally designed for large-scale deployment in armored assault units to achieve a rapid breakthrough effect similar to blitzkrieg. Therefore, the design lowered the standards of protection and firepower, and the simplified structure was easy to mass-produce. Essentially, it should have been a consumable item in a major war. As we can see from later history, the mainstream combat doctrine of the British Army still focused on trench warfare of the First World War. What they wanted was a versatile Bren gun carrier, not just the Wedge tank that advocated for attacks.